Now, I'm the kind of guy who's been creating from my vivid imagination since I was a kid. Because of that imagination, I can understand what it's like to be a person. I can imagine what it's like to be a person that doesn't have the creativity that I do. Now, everybody's not as creative as the person next to them, but what I think is that creative is something that you can learn and hone as a skill. And before you start getting too creative and start thinking too big about where to go with your creativity, you gotta start small, and the best place to start is your own home. Now, why do I think that your home is the best place to start? Well, you're watching me here, doing everyday mundane things like reading a magazine, drinking some coffee, putting on a shirt. That either means that you're in love with me and you're sticking around for that, or you're sticking around because I got you hooked up on those everyday mundane things with my creativity, how I shot those things. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just here trying to figure out what am I doing. Now, I'm not a Scorsese, I'm not a Tarantino, and I can admit that. I love doing YouTube videos. I am not the kind of guy you want on a big set because I would be really confused and I would have no idea what to do. Directing, on the other hand, that would be kind of interesting. But otherwise, no, I'm not a filmmaker. I am not a guy who wants to hold a big rig in my hands and figure out, you know, all that comes with it. Now, like I said, you gotta start small. If you go into the big sets, nothing's gonna come out of that, nothing else than harm, and you're gonna feel bad. So you gotta start small. And how you gonna start it? The basic thing is you gotta find yourself that everyday mundane thing that you do every day that you enjoy doing, like drinking coffee. There's a lot of coffee montages out there because of Mr. McKinnon, but that doesn't matter. If you love making coffee and you want to make a coffee montage, make it the best way possible and do it the best way possible you can. After that, post it online. That's not a thing that you have to do, but if you want some feedback, see what people say, put it online. Just don't take everything too personally, because people can be mean. Now, this right here is an old hospital. My grandma used to work here as a lab assistant, if I remember correctly, or was it the lung ward or something like that? But anyhow, now what happens after you've been practicing inside, all those angles, all those different kind of methods that you could use? You come outside. What you do is you start with baby steps. You don't want to go into the city center in the middle of a crowd because you are going to be self-aware that people are looking at you even though they might not give a damn what you're doing. And that is going to be like eating cheese nachos with cheese dip and cheese sauce on top, and you're just going to get noxious and anxious to try it again because it gave you an eerie feeling that you don't just want to do it again. And that's the same with videos and making videos. You don't want to get that feeling, so take some baby steps. Come to a secluded place like I'm doing right now and start filming yourself. Start getting used to the fact and the idea that you are outside. It is freezing out here, my fingers are frozen, and I just realized that this location is really windy, and I hope my audio is not gonna be busted because I got the DJI. It's got a windshield on it, so hopefully it'll be fine, but we'll see in post. I might have to record this part again. So the only thing that comes to mind that might hinder you from going outside is that you think there's nothing to show other people. Now, let's say you live in Scotland, you got mountains, you got hills, you got beautiful fields. I don't have anything like that. I got only frozen lakes. I got, dried up forest because it's not even summer or really spring yet. So there's no leaves, there's no beauty. It's just this frozen wilderness, as you can see behind me, or I don't know, not behind me, but next to me, there's always gonna be somebody happy to see a different kind of location than the one they're living in, even though you live there and think it's nothing special. Now here's a thought: you could actually make a video about the scenes, the landscapes that you have. Just go to that creative box that you are trying to build and think what kind of story you're gonna tell. If you got frozen wilderness like me, you can make a Game of Thrones kind of theme. If you got a desert, you could make a, you know, a hidden city kind of theme or something like that. I don't know what you can make out of desert. Or maybe you could just go out and buy a used snowboard and, you know, slide down the dunes or something. So you got always chances of making a video if you just creative enough. Now you might be thinking, what if I get creative block? Well, a dear friend of mine, Timo Vehkaoja, go check him out if you haven't. Might be a link somewhere in this video or in the description. He did a challenge where he recorded one video per day for 100 days. Now, it didn't matter what he recorded with. It could be with your phone, it could be with your toaster, it could be with anything. And he got out of the rut with that. And it didn't have to be long form, it didn't have to be short form video, just for yourself to take some, you know, video. And maybe later on use it as B-roll. You could use it anywhere after that. It's just taking video. Like you take photos, you take video. So he did that, and that worked fine. I haven't done that yet, but I think I should, because sometimes I am really deep in that rut. Okay, so the weather is getting really gnarly out here. It is constantly snowing, and I didn't have any idea where to go and do this last segment than my own home. So I'm here. Now, for all the beginners out there, forget everything else, because creativity is going to need a lot of headspace. If you're thinking about trying to learn color grading, stuff like that, just don't. If you're using a Fujifilm camera like I am, use, you know, film simulations. And when you figure out your workflow and everything like that, then you can start learning and adding everything else to it. Because I think in making videos, it is more important to get creative. Now, don't forget sound design. Sound design is really important in creativity. Add swooshes, everything like that. Add some music, be creative with the video and, you know, just with the sound design, because those are the most important things, to me at least, in a video. Not the color grading that much. And that's why I usually skip color grading and use plugins like Enhancer or something like that. But yeah, that's it for the video. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Nope, I totally forgot. I still have to take a thumbnail shot.